Welcome to the Business Family Marriage Podcast with Tim Smoyer. This is his personal podcast where he shares what he's learning about growing a seven-figure business while also raising 7 children and deepening his relationship with his wife at the same time. He shares what he's learning, what's worked, what hasn't, what he's trying next to grow a fruitful business, family, and marriage. For more on that today, here's Tim.
Well, good evening, guys. You parents, entrepreneurs, business owners, moms, dads, husbands, fathers. Good to see you or hang out with you all again here. It's been I think I'm on a 1 month roll. Like every month I'm getting an episode up, which is, good. It's a personal podcast. I just do these on my phone when I got some time. Just kind of sharing what I've been thinking about, what I've been reflecting on, what I've been observing in our business and our family, and especially how in areas where those two things overlap. And it's been, a little different than normal around here for me. I've gotten back to travel again. Before COVID hit, there was a season where I spoke at 13 different conferences in 13 different states in 13 weeks, back to back. And that was when I realized I should not be in charge of my own schedule, because all I would do is look at my calendar and be like, oh yeah, that week's open, I can do that. And I'd agree to it and not look at the weeks before or after. So thankfully I have a personal assistant, Stephanie, and now just more recently hired Caitlin, who will be replacing Stephanie. Stephanie is moving into more of a producer role on our team. And so hired Stephanie to take over that role of customer support and my personal assistant to make sure that doesn't happen. So after that, I was tired. I was dead. I was like, I can't keep doing this. COVID hit and canceled all the things I had after that, which was good. And I had about 1.5 years, almost 2 years off from travel and speaking. And now it's picking up again. So 2 weeks ago, I was in Austin. Was it 2 weeks or 3 weeks ago? This time it was 3 weeks ago. I was in Austin speaking at FinCon, personal finance influencers, teaching them about YouTube. And then 2 weeks ago, I was at Vid Summit out in LA. And then last week, this is what I want to talk about with you guys here. My team flew out here. Most of my team anyway. We have 10 employees now and several contractors and things as well. But the employees, what we were trying to do prior to COVID is, since we all work online virtually, my team is spread out across the country, and even some of the contractors are even in other countries. We found that it'd be we should probably get together in person at some point and just hang out, and everything that we do online and virtually together is it's very task oriented, because you get into a meeting, you have an agenda, and we've made some changes to our team meetings where about 2 years ago, where that's not quite the case, where it's just very task oriented and very all right, let's get work done, and more of a let's get to know each other, and let's we're not robots here. We're humans, and we have feelings, and we have interests outside of work, and we have struggles that we face, and we have victories that we're experiencing, and you have challenges that we're trying to overcome, and we got stuff going on in our home that impacts, all those things impact our work. and to ignore those things, I think, is a huge detriment, not only to the people, but just to how well we equip our team to work. And so we started doing an annual team retreat where everyone would fly out to my house and once a year. And we just spent a few days here in person doing a couple things. One, working on things that, the first year, I kind of started feeling like our team was, I think we had 4 employees and a couple contractors at that point. And I flew even some of the contractors out just because they were still integral parts of our business, and we spent a couple days with a business consultant I hired. His name's Rich. I need to get him on here at some point. We'll do it at some point. Talk about objectives and key results. But I was feeling that our team was really already at that point becoming compartmentalized, or we had people working on one thing, like really siloed. We had this one person working on this part of the business, someone else working on this other part of the business, and someone else in the third, and they would communicate, but no one really knew what the other one was doing. And then I always finding myself as a business owner in this place where I don't really know how to evaluate people's work. Like, are they working? Are they? I mean, I think they're getting stuff done, but and so I wanted to solve a couple problems, which is one, how do I keep how do I put together some sort of accountability structure when we're all virtual that could help me see like who's contributing and who's contributing what, and how do we all work together. Two, how do we pull together as a team so that it's not just a bunch of kind of siloed people just kind of feeling like they're competing for resources in the business, but everyone has a good picture of what's going on at a higher level. And three, that we kind of understand each other as people and not just as employees and workers and stuff. So I hired this guy, Rich. He came out for that first team retreat, and we spent a couple days learning this thing called objectives and key results. And he introduced this to us, and we spent a few days putting together our first objectives for that quarter and key results that we would measure in order to know if we hit that objective. And I think we've talked about that in a previous episode here, so I won't go too much into what that framework looks like. But you can find plenty about it online. Google, Intel, I'm drawing a blank on even GE and older companies built their empires around this goal setting framework, and I like it because it's public accountability. Everyone sees what everyone's doing and working on, and so it's not like I'm just kind of following up, but there's public accountability. It lets everyone be able to see what's happening at a bigger picture in the company. It helps us define what wins are, and we've also built into our team meetings, like I was saying earlier, at this where we have personal objectives and key results we're trying to do that may or may not be related to work. Usually aren't. It's just like a personal thing that we're working on, and whether it be like weight loss or fitness or relationships that we're focusing on, or just like anything personal stuff. So that's been good. That has definitely helped us connect better on a human level, even though we all work virtually. But the team retreat 2 years ago is the first time we did it, and it was really, really big. It was really, really important for our business and our relationships as a team. We were gonna do it last year. COVID hit, and we all decided, let's skip it this year, and so we did. And I kind of felt like prior to our team retreat this past last week, I was thinking our team is good. We get along. I don't really do we need a team retreat? Probably. We just probably should do it, and let's see what happens. And I felt like we should, but I didn't really know why. And after the team retreat was over, I remembered why. It is spending time together in person. There's just no substitute. It's seeing Zoom. You can't get to know someone as well as when you're just hanging out over dinner and you're just joking around. You're talking about non-work related stuff. You're getting to know each other, and it was so good. And so going into this team retreat, and then I want to talk about our family team retreat, which we just did this yesterday, a couple days ago. They did not go nearly as similarly, but the goals are the same. Let's get out of our normal routine and go someplace different and to a different environment and just focus on something. What are we trying to accomplish? And a team retreat, I think, when you're out of your environment, you're out of your normal rhythm, it makes a conducive environment for that to happen. Kind of like church camp, maybe, or missions trips, short-term missions trips, or things like that. If you have a more of a religious faith background, those types of experiences, do something very similar. So, the goals for the team retreat were threefold. Number one, we just want to get to know each other, build relationships. Two, the goal is to have fun. Let's have a good time doing what we're going to be doing here. And then number three, the third one was, I just lost it. I'm drawing a blank. It was get to know each other, have fun, and I gotta look at my notes. I'm drawing a blank on the third one. Let me see if I can look at my notes while I'm talking here. But what we did differently on this one is for this retreat is instead of bringing out a consultant and working on something, what we did is I've heard that Google and Intel have one of the things that they've done is have offsites where everyone just kind of works on whatever it is that they want to work on related to the business. Hold on, let me type in my Dropbox app here. I'm looking for team retreat. I don't know if you can hear that tapping or not. Okay, here we go. Look at my presentation here. It's downloading. I can't believe I'm drawing. I can't believe I'm drawing a blank on this. Yeah, I might have been like develop a new skill or something like that. I don't remember, but it's that down here. I'll know in a second. So, so we just wanted to be like, hey, let's put our normal roles aside, our normal responsibilities aside, and we got 2 days here. What do we want to work on? And we went through the little process of posting those on the wall. We were like, here's all the big things, like the problems I think we could solve in 2 days. And then we start brainstorming, like, how could we solve these in 2 days? That's okay. I got it here. The first one, the first goal was alignment in our mission, our vision, and our purpose, and just revisiting those. We've had some new employees since the last time we've gone over all this, and of course I hire based on this stuff, so they've already heard it. None of it's new, but I go in more detail about the stories behind it and why this is the way it is and how this developed and things like that. So alignment in our mission, vision, purpose stuff, and then building relationships and with each other, and then the last goal was to like solve some problems together. And so some of those problems we just said what are we gonna like? Let's just try to find something that needs to be addressed in our business that we could do in a short amount of time, 2 days, and how are we going to solve that problem. And it doesn't matter if you're normally a producer or you're normally an admin or you're normally a strategist, YouTube strategist, like just whatever you want to tackle. And then some of us linked arms on some of those things. Like for example, I wanted to make a YouTube short. I hadn't made one yet, embarrassingly enough. I've studied lots about them and I've read lots about them, but I haven't. And I've played with the YouTube Shorts editor, but I haven't actually made and published one yet. So I wanted to do that, and Lennon on our team, he wanted to make a tutorial. He has done plenty with shorts, and so he wanted to make a shorts tutorial. But he's like, we don't have any tutorials, and we're getting tons of questions about this. Like, can we just quickly crank out this video, or we make this a tutorial on shorts? And so we decided to join forces. We're like, how about we take Dana, my wife, and she's never made a short before either. I will film a YouTube shorts of you, Lennon, teaching us how to make a YouTube short. And so it'll be a tutorial. So we'll get our short made and you'll get your tutorial made, right? So we did a bunch of that, kind of like, let's combine some of these things and work it together. And it was fun. We had a great time. We did things we normally wouldn't do, and we learned things we otherwise wouldn't have learned. And I told the people at the beginning, like, the goal here is not to solve the problem and get the thing done. The goal here is to have fun together, build relationships, and create alignment. And even if the project doesn't get done, or even we abandon it by the time we get home, like, it's fine. Like, the goal here is just for us to build relationships and have fun. So that we did that during the day. In the evening, we went out and did something fun each evening. One evening we went out. Let's see, what did we do? The first evening, we picked everyone up at the airport. We went out to dinner and hung out a little bit, and that was that. The second night, we went out to dinner, and then we went to an escape room downtown Cincinnati, which is fun, team building things and problem solving stuff. The whole team really had a blast doing that. And then the third night, we went out to dinner, but we went to the Learning Kitchen, which is a place here in Cincinnati where there's a professional chef, and you go into a commercial type kitchen, and they teach you not only do you cook your food there, but it's they teach you a lot of kitchen skills and cooking skills. So I finally learned how to actually cook a good steak and do it well. It was by far the best steak I've ever had in my life. And so that was a lot of fun, cooking together. And so at the end of the team retreat, I just felt like, man, like these people, I think, I mean, maybe I should have done this interview with them or something while they're here, but I just felt like we understand each other much better, and we're more sympathetic for each other, and we're rooting for each other, and we feel like we've linked arms in ways that we haven't before, and the relationships are just stronger. And I'm like, that's why we do these team retreats. Is we get out of our normal comfort zone, we get out of our normal routine and rhythm, and go do something different, and with some intentional objectives, and focus on those things, and in ways we couldn't do otherwise. And it was so fruitful for our relationships, for the people. Not everyone can make it, unfortunately. We had a couple employees were sick and at the last minute couldn't come. And then we had like the newest employee, Caitlin. I literally just hired her like a week before our team retreat, and she already had plans to go to Disney. So we lost out to Disney, which is totally cool. I totally fine, for not a big deal at all. But we did only have half of us. But for the half of us that were here, it was really fruitful. And I feel like going into this next year, our communication was stronger. And one of the things that they said was like, Tim, you're making it really hard for us to leave. I'm like, good. Like, I don't like leave the business, like quit their jobs. And I'm like, good. Like, I don't want you to. Like, all you guys are great. You're awesome. And so it's kind of like, and then we wrapped it up with like, and I initiated. I didn't really expect them to jump in, but I was just like, I had some notes prepared of like, here's what I appreciate about each and every one of you. Like, and went around the circle and told everyone like, this is like, thank you for this. I see this in you, and just a lot of verbal affirmation. And everyone else on the team jumped in too. Everyone kind of like, okay, you're in the hot seat. We're all going to say what we appreciate about you and everything. And people started crying, it was a good time. Now, taking that same principle and translating it now to a family team retreat. So our family, I feel like, experiences something similar, which is when you just kind of get into this routine and you've always done the same things over and over and over again. And kind of the spark is missing in the family relationships, and it feels more like work and then it does like fun, and relationships are kind of just, stagnant and things. And I think like we can do that same thing happens with our family relationships if we're not careful. So, ironically, a day after the team left our house, our family drove about 8 hours out to Virginia to the Homesteaders of America conference. And I wasn't speaking of this. It was actually the first time I paid to go to a convention, which but like half the speaker lineup are former clients of ours on YouTube and homesteading. We've worked with lots of homesteading channels. Homesteading, if you're not familiar, is basically people who have their own mini farm on their property and grow their own food. They're not trying to like sell it necessarily, although some do, but it's more of like a self-sustainable independence, financial type, freedom type of thing. So, and we've been experimenting with a lot of that here on our property with chickens. We raised and processed our own chicken this year. We have a freezer full of chicken now that we did. We've got a big garden, fruit trees, apple trees, blueberry bushes, grapevines. So lots of veggies and herbs. Grew my own stevia, which is like a 0-calorie sugar substitute. Grew that along with our own tea leaves, and made my own sweet tea this summer. All that kind of good stuff. So we're kind of getting into it. And so I was like, they had a sale going on for tickets, and I registered and like got an Airbnb, and we went, So I wasn't really thinking in my head team retreat, but for the family, like family team retreat. But it became clear that we needed to do this because the kids were bickering and fighting with each other. Even that first night when we got there to our Airbnb, we rented a farmhouse that was built in 1731. So like hundreds of years old. Like some of the original logs were still there in the mud between the cracks. It was pretty cool. But some kids fighting over like not wanting to share the bed together, and because it had, it didn't have enough beds for all of us. So we put some of the kids double up. But anyway, I was just like, this is not the spirit that I want to like to be experiencing in our family for the next few days while we're here. And so I thought in my head, you know what? I'm going to turn this into a family team retreat. Like, I'm going to do the same thing that we did for our team retreat that made it so great. I'm going to come up with some objectives, and I came up with 3 objectives. So the first morning there, I'm like, guys, we're going to turn this into a family team retreat. Because originally I was thinking like I'm going to be going to sessions and I'm going to be shaking hands and meeting people and I'm going to be learning tons and the kids are going to be hanging out. But the first day I'm like, that's not going to work. Like I need to put that aside and I need to instead focus like, what does our family need here? And so I came up with 3 objectives and I told the kids, here's what we're going to do. 1, we want to make sure we get to know each other a little bit better. 2, we're going to have fun. And 3, we're going to learn something. So I kind of just copied basically kind of like what we were doing on the team retreat and brought that over to our family team retreat and said, that's what I want. So what do you guys think? So we talked about that a little bit over breakfast that first morning out in Virginia before heading out to the fairgrounds where the conference was being held. And tried to get everyone on the same page. And the rest of the we had 3 nights out there. So the rest of the conference and our family team retreat went well. However, we left fruitful. Yeah, it left like my wife and I, Dan and I on the drive home were like, so was that worth our time? Was that worth our energy or resources to go do this? And we both agreed that it was for many different reasons. But it wasn't as much because of the kids did grow together. They did learn a lot actually at the conference about chickens, about growing things and things. It was definitely educational. And we had fun for sure. But I feel like what I should have done is to make it like get the maximum impact out of like to have the type of experience that our team had on our team retreat, to have that on our family retreat because we have had that experience before when we'll go away and I'll kind of put on my old youth pastor hat I used to wear back before prior to YouTube days and develop like, here's going to be a retreat for our family. Here's the activities we're going to do. Here's what we're trying to accomplish. And then here's the activities we're going to do that will help us accomplish that. As opposed to what I did is I kind of just like, okay, guys, we're going to have some objectives for our time here. And they're like, okay, Dad. and it was better, but it didn't like, if on a scale of 1 to 10, our business team retreat, I feel like we came away at like an 8 or a 9 in terms of achieving those 3 objectives and building better relationships and solving problems and having fun and all that kind of stuff. On the family team side, I feel like I walked away. We probably, if we started that first night on a 1, I guess, really, I feel like we ended on a 5 maybe, so it I guess it definitely went a lot better, but I should have gone to our family team retreat with more of a plan. And even that first night when we arrived out in Virginia, my wife was like, so what's the plan for tomorrow? I'm like, here's what I think we're gonna do. And she's like, are you serious? Like, that doesn't sound fun to me. And I'm like, yeah, you're right, that's probably not gonna be fun for you. So I didn't go into it with the planning. So I would say, here's kind of the whole point of all this is like, 1, retreats are amazing for both your business and for your family. It gets you out of a normal routine, gives you something new to focus on. Your agenda is all different and people are in this mindset, this headspace of like, yes, I'm expecting something to be different because I'm in this different environment and all the normal things I normally do, all the normal distractions I normally have are gone. And like I'm expecting something different. So that environment is really, really key and really important. And for the team retreat, I had planned it out. I'm like, this is what we're trying to accomplish, and this is how we're going to do that. And we did that together as a team, and thus, we had a lot of success. On the family side, it was a little bit more haphazard, and I didn't plan it out. I wish I had taken this opportunity that I didn't have it's not like I was speaking there. It's not like someone else was planning my agenda, telling me when I had to be on stage and when I had to be in a speaking line doing speaker Q&A, or when I had to be answering questions or available or something like that. And so I had full flexibility, and I missed the opportunity to really make it a really successful family team retreat. I think we redeemed some of it. We made it a little bit. We made it better than it could have been, but I'm thinking now, okay, let's do another family team retreat where we build relationships, we have fun, and we kind of reset just our normal life together, and start making those remember when conversations that we hopefully would have for the rest of our life. And it doesn't have to be expensive. It doesn't be hard. It doesn't be time consuming. We just need to get an Airbnb somewhere, get away from our own property, pack some food, pack some clothes, grab sleeping bags, and just go somewhere for a few days, and bring some crafts maybe to do together, bring some family board games, maybe preps here's what we're going to learn or what we want to work on, maybe do some of our own family objectives and key results together, and just make it a really meaningful time. It's different than a vacation. I think sometimes when I say family team retreat, people kind of think oh, okay, it's I've never heard of someone called vacation that way. When I think of vacation is just when you and your family go out and just have fun. And that's really important. I think there's a lot of value to that. I'm not belittling that whatsoever. We actually don't really do that. It's mostly just because whenever we travel, it's usually for work-related stuff. So it's something that maybe we do go camping, though. I guess when we go camping, I guess that would be equivalent to our vacation, where there's no agenda. We're just going to go hang out. But when I'm thinking of a family team retreat, is how do I, as the leader of our family, organize and put together an event for our family that intentionally brings us closer together and helps us accomplish something, and makes us feel like we're linking arms and builds those relationships, and plans something that actually accomplishes that. So we're probably not just going out and having a good time, although we will go somewhere and have a good time, but there's structure. It's more like a retreat or like a camp or something like that, where we're doing things together. And so yeah, there's that. I don't know if that makes any sense. Hopefully, I've been talking for 27 minutes now, so hopefully there's something that ties it all together. But yeah, I am looking forward to giving the family team retreat a better shot the next go around here, and making it intentional, making it the positive, fun experience for our family that I'm envisioning. And I think the biggest thing that does is probably there's so many things competing for our kids' hearts and for our attention. And I just imagine the impact it has when the father takes the time and the initiative to plan out a retreat for the family that's designed to bring us together and to really capture our kids' hearts for our family and for each other. If that doesn't happen on purpose, I think it's gonna be really difficult for that to happen accidentally. There's just too much out there that is just way more alluring and has less perceived conflict and things than what happens in the home. So I don't know. I'm looking forward to do that, pulling that together. I would love to hear what you guys think, what your reactions are to this. There's a link in the show notes where you can leave me a voice message, and do it, guys. I'm looking forward to making this more interactive and hearing from you, whether you have questions, whether you have insights to me. Maybe you tried the team retreat thing or the family team retreat thing, and I know someone who does it a lot, so maybe I should ask him I think they have quarterly family team retreats, so I should probably bring him out and talk more about that. But yeah, just use that link, leave your voice messages, and I'll include them in future episodes here, and get other people hopefully responding, so we can all learn from each other, and improve our families, grow our families and our businesses, and make both of them as fruitful as possible. So looking forward to hanging out with you guys again in our next episode. And if you haven't left a review also on Apple Podcasts, that really does help us out in terms of promoting and getting the word out there. The more reviews are coming in, the more Apple's they promote the podcast. So if you don't mind doing that, that'd be great. Thank you so much. And yeah, I got some work to do before some team meetings tomorrow, so I'm going to catch up on that. And you guys have a good evening. Thanks for hanging out. Talk to you guys soon.